repeat?
No,
I probably can come to it. Also, I'm thinking about is food.
Wait, the first thing I just want to ask, though, is how deep is this tour?
I don't think you can
Quantify?
Yeah, I don't think you really can. I don't think there are. I mean, we were watching Q School scores this morning. A couple friends playing second stage. A couple friends of some of these guys we were watching on the range. Like those guys are fighting for their careers and lives this week, especially today. And if you put any one of the 70 some odd guys in any of the stages here on this golf course, yes, they might have to take a second to get used to the gravity of all of this, but once you get over that, it's just golf, and everybody playing second stage right now is also good enough to shoot these scores that we're shooting currently. And then, the depth on the PGA Tour it's a joke, man. I thought I saw Rory's quote talking about Dustin, how he's the second best in the world, and he hasn't won this whole year. Like, I mean, it's insanely difficult to win. I've had a few opportunities. I felt like in those opportunities I played well enough to win. It just didn't happen. I'm trying to, but there's nothing you can do. You just keep going. You try to get a little bit better, and maybe one decision or two here and there can build some momentum to where you are the one lifting the trophy. But it's a joke. I mean, we were an hour and a half group of guys, and I finished the day in third yesterday at 8 under, and it's I thought I saw myself after making a birdie on 2. I was in like 6th, and I was already 7 back of Keith, who had already went on a run. Like, it's crazy. I mean, and I'm part of it too. So that's like the kind of thing you have to remember that I'm here and I am capable of doing just that and running out ahead and getting these golf tournaments. I mean, Keith's a great buddy, and I know he struggled a little bit last week. I don't think if you had told him you'd been 18 under for 36, he'd have thought last week that that's a thing. But he and everyone else here are so good and capable of doing that if you just you have a few things go your way and you hole a couple putts, anyone can set a record at any moment.
Funnily enough, Rory also singled him out as an example of someone you might not expect to play well at the start of a week, but that could come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And here he is.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, yes, the difficult part is you have to do it for 4 days. Keith has probably set a record for these 2 days, but he still has to wake up and do it twice more with even more, situational pressure on himself and the like. But he's so good. Clearly he's so good. Everybody is. I mean, I played with Rasmus Højgaard, who's 20 years old.
Yeah.
And he didn't have his best the first 2 days, but you're just like, I was nowhere near this good at 20. It's really, truly incredible. And it spans, it's included the PGA Tour for sure, the players here, but it spans to Korn Ferry guys. It spans to guys that are, again, this week fighting for their career.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys are capable of doing this. They just haven't either gotten or earned the opportunity just yet.
And so here you are with a position that you've talked about. You've got that opportunity that you crave. Are you excited for the weekend ahead?
Yeah, absolutely. To have a chance to win a golf tournament is why we get out of bed and do all this crazy stuff. I'm excited, and I would love to be 5 ahead, but I mean, again, like we've seen, is you can make a run, you can go on a run where you birdie. I mean, I feel like you can birdie 10, 11, 12 holes in a row out here.
Yeah.
It's easier said than done, obviously. But I could be the one that has a 5-shot lead at the end of the day tomorrow, just with kind of how you have to play this golf course. And then also how much different it is for me than Keith, who's got he's probably going to be 4 or 5 ahead, I would imagine. I would love that position. I would rather that than 5 behind. But that's just a difficult spot. If somebody will run out and birdie 6, 7 holes in a row, and then all of a sudden he's 1 or 2 back. And then if you just hit one mediocre shot that ends up in a bad spot, you make bogey, then you don't know what you're feeling at that moment. Everything that you thought is not now. But no, I love where my game's at. I have gotten better all the week, last week, and through this week. I'm enjoying getting better and hitting some of the shots that I haven't hit for a while, but I know I'm capable of. If I could get a few putts to stop hanging on edges and just go in the hole, then I love my chances this weekend.
Just for the record, what's your hat size?
A lot. a lot bigger than this. TaylorMade gives me hats that they don't make anymore. Yeah. I'm starting to have a little bit of a headache. There was she was probably a 3 or 4 year old down there, and they didn't have anything. They were running up to me, and I just, I got like 6 more hats in my locker, so I signed the hat. I don't give away my gloves though, because those do not fit. I'm a 2XL, and they don't have a ton of them, and they don't all fit uniformly enough for me to give it away. Like I had a good one today. I'll be using that one for the rest of the week.
How many gloves do you start with tournament week?
I usually have like 3 or 4 strays from the week before. Usually I'll use 2 or 3. So they give us a half dozen. So usually there's 3 strays that come with me, and then another 6. There's usually 3 or 4 in the bag at all times, because there's some you put on. It's like, I'm not swinging with this. Yeah.
Following up on one of the earlier things you said, I was just a little bit amused by the idea that a guy tied for second, Sung Hyun Kim.
Yeah.
Playing very nicely this week. He's going to second stage of Corn Ferry Q School.
Is he really?
From here.
Yeah. Boom. There you go.
What's that going to be like for him, do you think?
It's
easier or harder? Because what do you think?
It's way harder. Way harder. Especially this event, right? You're playing 4 days anyway. And I guess you're playing 4 days there anyway. But like you feel when you're in that position, you feel like your life is on the line. I mean, I've played some second stages where you're teeing it up and you're hoping for a good week, and if you don't have a good week, you're thinking about getting a job, to continue to pay for. You feel like you've exhausted all of your resources. You've asked everybody you could for money, and you haven't shown them results. So I do not think that Q School is the best way to identify who's
better.
Who's better, because it's spaced out and it's 4 days. But it's very rare that you get a fluke that gets through as well. Like I say that I do not think it's the best way to identify who's basically going to end up on the PGA Tour, but I also have no clue
that was going to be my next
how
question.
else you'd identify it. I think maybe scrunch the tournaments a little closer together. Maybe visit. I know it's difficult. Visit some different sites. There are some guys that have constantly gone to first and second stage at the same place, and they just have that kind of success. And then when final stage starts flipping around a little bit, they don't quite fare as well because maybe they're not as familiar with the place. I'm on the pack, but I will not ever suggest changing Q School because I'm sure it'd be a nightmare.
I was going to suggest the LPGA, but I'm not sure how they do it now. But I think they've got like 3 tournaments in a row with a couple-day break in between.
We love finals or playoff events. Do it more that way.
Eliminate.
Lord knows I should not be in charge of any of those decisions. But yeah, case in point, there's a guy going to second stage of Q School that's going to play in the final group here on Saturday. That's how deep pro golf is. Yeah. And could you imagine how difficult it is for him here too? I guarantee you he speaks little to no English.
None, by the way.
Yes, he has some familiar food, and that's about it.
Lord
knows if he's ever been to Vegas, and sure, that's a place you're going to get wide-eyed here very easily. I mean, that's profoundly impressive.
I think second stage is in New Mexico, too, so this is going to be great.
Okay, perfect. Desert and desert. Okay, good.
What was the best shot you hit today?
I hit a 5-iron that I hit so solid on 14, the par 5. It was about this far from being about 6 feet for eagle, and it was one of the most difficult 3-putted for par. It was
catch a ridge or?
No, it hung just on the right side of it, and then it's just steep enough, past me and to the right, that if I putt it, I'm probably going to putt it to 6-8 feet. I just didn't have the gall to chip it. So I should have chipping it. It gives you the best chance to get it close, but also you could wind up missing the green. But that was by far the best shot. I hit a nice pitching wedge into the second hole too, which after making a frustrating par on 1, hit it to 3 feet. It's like, okay, we're back to where we're going. Now I can string together some birdies.
I don't need to get into this minutia here, but what was so frustrating about 1?
I hit a very nice drive that didn't quite kick as far forward as it should have, in my opinion. And then I hit the lowest, hardest 56 degree that I had 70 yards to the flag. I mean, this thing was I'm also coming, down the hill. I mean, it was no higher than my knee, and it landed so soft and just kind of killed it and ran up and then just kind of trickled back to 18 feet or so. How I hit it. I mean, it was exactly how I drew it up in my head. I just didn't draw it up being 18 feet from the hole. I drew it up being
18
in
inches.
or close. Yeah. So that was, it's difficult in that moment after, you know, birdieing half the holes I played yesterday, thinking like, okay, is this how today's going to go? And then I settled that by hitting it to that on 2, and we were good.
All right. Set. Thank you.
Cheers, guys. Take care.